To briefly describe the opportunity that currently exists in Africa, you have to look at probably 3, 4 things. Number one, you have to look at population and the age of the population. Yeah. So Africa is a growing population, more than 1 billion people now, and most of these people are below 15 years old. So if you look at the workforce, what productivity is going to be in 30, 40 years, it is going to be in Africa. And where the market in terms of consumption is going to be, it's going to be in Africa. The second thing is you have to look at the macro improvements that are happening that are creating the emergence of a middle class. And you have to compare that a little bit with what happened in Asia when that middle class became mainstream. And we are on the verge of the same thing in Africa. That means people are going to have to build houses, they're going to buy cars, they're going to have fridge and equipment and prosperity. And with prosperity comes opportunity to service with existing product, but also to create new product. The third thing you have to look at is the fact that Africa cannot be left alone in a way that, for a long time it has been more a place for, I would say, charity and, kind of feel bad, feel good. But it is changing so much, and you have seen the integration of the culture and what communication has helped again. People in Africa are no longer waiting for handouts. If everywhere they're connected and, they watch Manchester United too, they like Beyonce too, and they want the same thing. And that force is going to come anyway. And that is going to continue to drive movement in Africa so that you don't want to ignore. The last one is actually, it is an incredible place. And it is quite unique. And the only thing I can say is you have to go there to feel it for yourself. And once you've been there, some of it becomes obvious without someone explaining to you. The social issue we're solving, which is actually an issue for the society at large, is the following. When you pick up your phone today, here in Amsterdam, and I ask you to call someone in Benin or in Djibouti, you don't even think about it. You take it for granted that you can make that call. But if I ask you to send them money or do a transaction with them, there is no simple way to do that. So we have come so far as a society in our ability to communicate and share emotion, and share so much from a communication point of view that there is no reason we can't do the same for financial services, starting with payment. So our mission, what we're here to do, is to make sure that what you can do from a financial point of view does not depend on where you are, where you're from, and where you're finding yourself at a given time. That when you pick up your phone, you can transact freely with anyone else in the world. And that means building the digital path to connect pretty much everyone around the world. And we're starting that in Africa. Now we're connecting over 200 million people that can pick up their phone and transact with each other freely. And we want to continue to reinforce that, of course, in Africa, but we want to connect this to the rest of the world too. As the world is getting smaller, communication has made it easier to get it smaller. What we're trying to do is to make sure that the financial services follow the same way, starting with payment. So you should care, because at some point, all the work that we're doing will be to give you more power so that what you can do does not depend on where you are. The 2 key challenges managing growth, I would say, have been people, and linked to people is culture. People, because you have to, as you're growing slowly, you tend to also hire slowly, and you hire people for references, and that's okay when you are some sort of moderate growth. When you start growing rapidly, where you need to hire 5, 6 people every month, you have to have a different ways of doing that. And I think that has been quite challenging for us, because it wasn't just hiring the right people, it was hiring the right people for this business who would fit into our culture. And we had to learn to be very disciplined about how to hire strangers. And that has been one of the challenges. Again, we're still building this company, and what helps a lot is to keep the North Star, to know why we're doing it, and eventually to check against that North Star. The path is not straight, and you have to take many turns, and that means many trade-offs in a day, many trade-offs in a week, a month, and so on. And not just you, many people in the company. What helps us is to remember the North Star, and the North Star is that we want to make sure that what you can do in terms of financial services does not depend on where you are, that you are connected to the full digital world, starting with Africa. My perspective on hiring people is, Probably threefold. Number one, I think you have to find the passion. You have to look for the fire. What moves this person? Because a lot of people are good, but you cannot be better as someone who's really passionate about something. So we tend to look for that. I tend to try and find why this person actually get up in the morning, and is this aligned with what we're trying to do here? The second thing is grit and ability to push through. And I tell people I will actually pick that over intelligence. It's because there is obviously, you have to be able to count and divide, two things pretty quickly. But at the end of the day, plan A never works. And you have to find people who can go to plan Z if they have to and can stick with it and so on. And the third thing is empathy that I look for, is the ability to sense and the ability to feel your environment. And those things which you can put in words, those things that, people who can read situations and can empathize, in particular with the end user, the person, the most vulnerable user that we're trying to defend. We try to make sure that this person actually understands them and resonate with what they live.